What's up? This is Uncle Reg live. What's up? What's up? Yeah, today we gotta talk about the P Diddy. I'm gonna go through the P Diddy and what's going on and stuff. Um, okay, so we here today. We gotta talk about this P Diddy trial and stuff. What's going on? What's going on? And like I said, I don't do too many lives over here. I'm just starting, so it'll take a while to build a few people up over here and stuff. But we over here listening to the T. Uncle Red tell you the T, what's going on, especially in this trial and stuff. You know, if you haven't known, National Guard got sent out to L.A. because it was protesting out there. The protesters turned, you could say, turned violent, I guess. Protesting over the ICE raids and all that. Shipping back the illegal immigrants is here and stuff. And it seems like they're not trying to stop, but the National Guard is out there. Homeland is, the borders are, you're not playing around, man. I think because they got mad because I think like 1,000 illegals got gaffled up before the weekend, I guess, and they ransacked a couple of restaurants in San Diego and a couple other places, and people wasn't feeling it, so they took to the streets. They took to the streets, and it's wild out there right now. You live in L.A. I mean, you might have to want to stay away from downtown, right now. But they saying, I heard a couple stores got looted in Compton and stuff like that. And, you're always gonna take the time to loot. But it would be a protest, but then you're gonna take time to loot. I think those agents out there, some of them agents that wearing that lifelike mask, you thinking it's a Hispanic, but it's not, or black is not. It's somebody else under that mask. And I blame the Democrats for this, man, because they come on. All this could have been prevented, and they want this to happen under Trump watch because they hate Trump so bad. It's just crazy. But we get to see what happened. We'll see if things return to normal down in L.A. But LA is not the only place they're having these protests. It was I think in Minnesota, and it was in Washington D.C., a few other places too. Hold on real quick. Okay, I'm back. All right, so so we have to see what's gonna happen, man. See how long it's gonna last. So, dang, why that is? Hold on, I gotta fix it. This motherfucker. Okay, that's better. Okay. I see little things that people don't see. It was kind of uneven, so shit. That shit got to be even. It's the only thing, do your own little graphics and stuff. thumbnails or whatever. Has to be even Steven. Even Steven. Okay, so now let's go through this P Diddy trial. We're gonna start from day 16 and stuff. Brianna Bangoli was on the stand. Was Cassie's best friend and stuff. This is the girl that got helped over the balcony by P Diddy. 17 stories up. And then he threw down on some balcony furniture. He actually did it like Big Red did that guy that wanted his money, that manager that wanted his money and stuff. Talk about this is my business hour. He probably said that too, but he probably didn't mention that. But I'm sure that he did like that scene. But we're gonna talk about this day 16. First, when she got on the stand, they talking about substance use. He said McGold testified that she used drugs with Ventura and Combs, including marijuana, cocaine, ketamine. McGold testified that she and Ventura, despite using drugs together weekly, they would try time to get sober because we wanted to do better. She testified that they would cook together instead of using drugs, but those pills would never last. We had a problem. We're going to testify to cross-examination. Yeah, because she said a lot of stuff about P. Diddy, and then the cross-examination was one where it really got heated at. Man, a lot of stuff happened during just 16. And then they said the photo shoot threat. So we're going to testify that Combs threatened her during a photo shoot she was doing with Ventura on the beach, 2016. Combs and Gola said he came up really close in my face and said something around the lines that I'm the devil and I could kill you. Okay, and Bengola testified that she didn't know what the prompt Combs would say that, but she was terrified. Okay, he asked the prosecutor why I continued to see Combs after that. Honestly, I don't know. He said, I was shaking a lot. We're going to testify in more detail to the incident where Combs dangled over the balcony railing, Ventura, Los Angeles apartment. McGoldrick said the incident happened after Combs showed up banging on the door. She was outside the balcony alone when Combs came up behind her and lifted me up and had me on the top rail. McGoldrick was terrified that Combs grabbed her chest and held her by her armpits over the railings for 15 seconds, repeatedly yelling, "Do you know what the fuck you did?" Magnolia said she didn't know what he was talking about. I was shaking a lot, she said, adding that she didn't report the incident to the police because she was scared. And then they said about the lawsuit. Gola testified in 2024 she hired a large Tyrone Blackbird who made a money demand to Combs regarding the back of it. She later fired Blackbird because she realized he had incorrect information in the money demand paperwork. Same year, Gola testified that the music producer Rob Holiday called her on behalf of Combs saying that he authorized a talk to settle with her. Gola said that shortly after that, her current attorney helped her file a lawsuit against Combs with $10 million. Gola testified that she filed a suit because I wanted to seek justice for what happened. And then this says sporadic contract. New Year's Eve 2018 was the last when Gola hung out with Combs and Ventura. She said after she described a drug-fueled night with two, Angolan testified she vowed thereafter to get sober. Angolan said that her relationship with her became sporadic after that, but she didn't speak. She did speak with Ventura in 2023 after she filed a civil suit against Combs. Angola, said that she told Ventura at the time that some dudes were about to back in the incident and her suit was wrong. And the date and the location. The defense attorney resumed cross-examination. Okay. So, this is where the defense came in, cross-examining. They were saying that she had the date wrong. And Combs wasn't there. It didn't happen because Combs wasn't even there in the city in that date. So the defense thought they had her, but the forensic expert came in after she got off the stand because the defense thought they had her win. You know, her whole entire statement was bullshit. You could throw it all out, but it didn't happen like that. What happened is that, you know, the forensic expert recovered data from Cassie phones, broken phones and stuff, and found emails that corroborated the incident happened, but it didn't happen on the date that Angola said. It happened on 4 days later. So the feds had eggs on their face. Straight egg on their face on that. So that's about I'm gonna go on day 16. Now, there's a couple of things happened on day 16 too. I think that situation with Gene Deal and the Knock fight outside the courtroom, that debacle happened, and Gene Deal got suspended from going to the court. I don't know if he completely banned or not, but apparently he I think he'll come back. And I guess he met up with Tisha Tales and they was talking. Tisha Tales got this little, she got a little spot on ABC Nightline talking about the Diddy case and stuff. She's out there, so I guess her hard work is paying too. So a couple things that happened, during that day. It was 16 or 17. All that happened. So we're gonna go to the 17th day. So what we got here is Jane Doe testified. Now this is supposed to be the second witness. And they said that Jane Doe, who has a relationship she said she had a relationship from 2021 to 2024. Now the Jane Doe people found out from, apparently someone found out it was P. Diddy. No, not P. Diddy. 50 Cent baby mama took the stand. This is the Jane Doe. Didn't know that she was going to testify. I don't know if 50 Cent knew, but some leaked audio came out of P. Diddy talking to Daphne Joy. That's his name, was baby mama, and she been with, I think, a couple rappers and stuff before he got with P. Diddy. Got with 50 Cent. But 50 Cent had a kid by her and stuff. But when you look on the bio, it doesn't come up that he got a kid. This is weird. I don't know. But you know what? Those bios on Google, if you wanted to change, you can change them and stuff like that if you want. But let's see what's going on here. But this is 50 Cent baby mama. Now you know why 50 Cent is so mad at P. Diddy. And I guess he got back at 50 Cent P. Diddy by, you could say, slutting his baby mama out. But let's see. Okay, she testifies. It said first met Diddy at a girls trip in Miami. Okay, May call. She was romantically involved with a friend who was on a trip too. Okay, and at dinner he hosted in Miami. He paid for the trip. Okay, recall the trip lasted for 5 days. About 3-4 of them, Jane first said the night he met Combs, he was really hospitable and funny. Okay, he was really charming, nice. I was already drawn to him pretty instantly. Okay, group started at Combs' home and then went to the party on his yacht. There was a little bit further going on. Okay. And here we go. We see Jane testified by exchange numbers. Okay. Okay. Sean asked, I guess, Daphne, one of the accusers using the pseudonym at trial. Okay, exchange numbers. And they talked at 2020 yacht party. She testified. Okay. They chose nickname Bird and Arnie. They put each other contact. Okay. That's weird. Okay. Later that night, the Jane group went back to Combs' home and used the pool. Jane went to Combs to his studio to get some pink powder. There was drug use. He was all taking drugs. All taking drugs. Drug after one of the girls asked for drugs. She recalled a man in the studio building gave Combs a pink powder. Okay. One of the man in the studio building. Okay. Jane asked him if drugs were safe. She recalled he looked at her and said, "Yeah, it's the best." Jane Group left Combs' house abruptly after that because her friend was seeing Combs at the time, suspected that there was something between Jane and what you call it. So she stole her friend, man, basically, Daphne Joy. She wanted to get with close to P. Diddy, because, so she bumped her own friend off. Interesting. Now, Jane testified the next day that he hosted a pool party for them, and on the last day of Monday, they watched the movie together. She said that Combs had texted her during the movie, asking if she could take her out. She testified, texting the person who was sitting right next to you in the movie theater. Ain't this a bitch? So I'm getting off track. Okay. She testified that she told him that he would be in touch. Okay. And then said that Combs texted her and called her. Remember, he was from Chases. He invited me to Miami. She said she wasn't hesitant at first because her friend was still have feelings for Combs, but after her friend got engaged. So her friend got engaged. She felt that she considered the possibility of being with Combs. Okay, how did that happen? She was with Combs and then she got engaged with some other dude. She was dating Combs and it's crazy. I don't know. Okay. Jane described Combs being charming the first date. First trip to Miami, they just talking about the first date in Miami. I'm gonna get off of that. And I'll read a little bit of it. Okay, the first trip to Miami. Okay, come again in Miami. Okay, 2021. She said she planned to be in Miami for an event, and Combs offered the booked hotel room. Combs walked in the room to the first night, stayed. He was larger than life, with big personality and charming. She said the first date with Combs and dinner on a hotel lasted 5 days. First night he spoke about the father of a child, a man who said Jane was someone Combs didn't get along with. That's 50 Cent. Let me read that again. During the first dinner, they spoke about the father of a child, a man whom Jane said wasn't someone Combs didn't get along with. 50 Cent. And they discussed how Jane could date a close friend of Combs around. Wait a minute. They also discussed how Jane dated a close friend of Combs around 2015. Okay, who was that? Combs said he didn't care about any of that. Okay. So they recalled the first night they made. It was amazing, and they made lots of love. They spent the next several days together getting to know each other. Okay. So who was a friend Combs dated? Interesting. We know that was 50 Cent they was talking about. So P. Diddy didn't care about all that, about Big Mama 50 or, she dated one of his close friends. Okay, she was said pretty head over heels at the time. He went. They'll testify. Okay, I'm gonna get off of that. Okay, here we go. Jane said Combs gave her a love bracelet and ecstasy during the Turks and Caicos trips in 2021. Okay, he testified he gave her a bracelet. It said love while on 2001 trip, 2021 trip. Okay, I see. Jane took the ecstasy around 10 times over a 9-day trip in Turks and Caicos. She said, see, they was always taking drugs. These motherfuckers was always taking drugs. I don't think it was a point where none of these people was sober. Okay, so Jane said that she previously took drugs twice in her life. First time, Combs said he gave her ecstasy. She was relaxing in the pool. She recalled holding the drugs in her hand. He said, here, take this. And said something like, it'll be fun. Shortly after ecstasy, for the first time, she felt the sand on the beach and had a reaction. His butler and KK tried to help me, but he said KK nickname for Combs, former chief of staff Christina Combs. Combs offered Jane $10,000 at the end of the trip because she been away from work as an influencer for so long. He wired her $10,000. Now, I don't think this is going to link to sex trafficking or anything like that. This was just dating here, I think. She wasn't doing the duty. She was just compensating her for, I guess, her missing work or some shit. And then you say that the ecstasy made her relax before your sexual, just enhanced the touch and made more loving, flirtatious with him. Jane testified she took the ecstasy several more times on the trip. By the drug determined her dosage every time. So Sean Diddy said he knew the drug and the amount of doses for the person. I mean, he was a master at this, I guess. Jeez. After returning to Trinidad, he said even deeper feelings for Sean. I wanted to say he even started using the L word. So she started saying, I love you. Okay, all right. Then Combs made it clear that you like that, but he was seeing multiple women. Now, this is where Combs, people say that he was pimping. He was doing that thing that y'all want to do, you know. He said, I'm seeing multiple women. I liked him. She said she was okay with it. Okay, and then understanding it was open. So he made it from the beginning that this was an open relationship. Okay, she didn't get into the sense of monogamy or any option. Okay, her heart was this. All right. There's a witness said Combs flew to Miami regularly but kept the relationship private. Okay. Jane lived on the East Coast where they relocated. Combs gave her money, including $6,000 moving truck, $6,000 for a moving truck, but her ugly transferred her money just because of the relationship. From February through May 2021, she see Combs every other week. He fly her to see her in Miami. Jane testified. Okay. Jane described an intense, affectionate relationship with Combs. I'm gonna read that. I'll pass that up. We see. Jane said things escalated quickly on the night that Combs proposed, bringing in another man. Okay, this is where it started getting tricky at. He set her up so she could bring these other men in on her, because that's how he get off. I think he did get off with it. Cynical One, what's up? What's going on? Okay, let's see. Jane said things escalated quickly on the night that Combs proposed bringing in another man, and accusers testifying under pseudonym. Okay, dropped her head and dabbed her eyes with a tissue. Okay, when it happened between her and Sean Diddy in 2000. May 2021. Okay, the two had been waking for many hours in the bedroom, having sex and taking drugs. I was taking drugs. This motherfucker stayed taking drugs, man. I know that PD have serious withdrawals and stuff. This nigga was taking everything. They said he had a pharmaceutical cabinet in pharmaceutical. What we call that? A depot in his house or some shit. If I'm saying that right, I don't know. A pharmaceutical pharmacy in his house or some shit. Okay, that's what I'm to say. Okay, now Combs was asking Jane to fantasize about being with other men and asked if she wanted to do that. Testified, she responded, okay, not thinking it would happen that night, just playing in fantasy. Combs quickly on the phone and telling her, we can make it happen tonight. Jane said she was taken aback, but said okay, and asked by Combs why she responded that way. Because my partner was excited and it was already happening. Okay, within 4 hours, hotel, Jane testified, Combs were busting around, selling up the room with red light. After Sisson left, Combs told her to relax and wait till the man come, and Combs told her if he knew the guy, he was really nice. Jane testified that she was super nervous and still high from the drugs he took earlier in that night with Combs. Combs went to greet the man and arrived eventually. Daniel called him. Combs told the man, Don. We're from the service Cowboys for Angels. Okay. Jane described in court how eventually sex with Don while Combs watched. Don left after two had sex. After John left, Jane said that Combs had sex. She and Combs had sex and recalled they were really happy. The next day, she went with Combs and her friend on a yacht. Okay, what is this part here? Okay, Jane testified initially exhilarated by the night, felt excited, happy, it was taboo, it was fun. I had a good time with my partner, she said, but testified there was something it just did one time that might do again on a random or other occasion. I truly felt that night was open like a Pandora box in a relationship. It just completely set the tone relationship moving forward. She said the night opened the door up and she wasn't able to shut the door remaining on relationship. Okay. Now the assistant attorney Maureen Comey asked her why she wanted to shut the door. There was so much of it after and it was too much for me. She said throughout the relationship, Sean, she wanted to have sex with him, not with other men. Okay, so this is where they get them at, because when she starts saying, I don't want to have sex with other men, I just want to have sex with men, they can push the thing that she was forced or, something like that. All I gotta do is say no once, and then you ask. The accuser asked Combs to dismiss her repeated request to stop bringing other men. Uh-oh. Here we go. Jane Doe. Okay. The accuser who testified on this, and said she told multiple times that she didn't want to have sex with other men, but he didn't listen. Now, this is where we've been forced to do it. This is the problem. Jane estimated about 90% of the time she had sex with Combs, it would be involved another man. Damn. After their first time doing it, so in May 2021, she said she went along with it initially because she really loved Combs but wanted to make him happy. And she was fairly losing to him. I just wanted to be everything that he wanted. But by late 2021, however, Jane said she testified that she didn't want to have sex with other men in writing and verbally. She mostly told him in writing because there was tension between between her bought and the subject in person. Okay. Whenever the topic came up, it would start out really uncomfortable. James said it would just feel like the tension was building, and I would just kind of push down what I was going to say. Combs was dismissive and even called crazy at times for discussing it, Jane testified. Other times he would say it was fine that they didn't have to do it anymore, but then he would still do it. Okay, the accuser said that Combs dismissed her repeatedly, request stop bringing other men to them. Okay, we read that article. That was the same thing they said. Now, Jane said Combs paid her rent and implied that he stopped if he broke it. Okay, this is where they was talking about. Now, Jane testified when he tried to tell him she didn't want to have sex with other men. Combs would say, "If you want to break up, that's fine," and then say wouldn't pay the rent for a woman that he wasn't seeing. Jane testified that she wasn't trying to break up in those conversations. She was just trying to stop having sex with other men. Feel frustrated, Jane added. She felt obligated to perform these nights for him. When asked if she felt obligated to continue the sexual encounter with Combs and other men, Jane said, "My feeling was obligated really started to stem from the fact that my partner was paying my rent." Jane testified that it is unpredictable when she would see Combs, and he would sometimes notify her the day or of the night before. Jane said he made sure he always available to see Combs by arranging proper child care to keeping her hair and nails done. She testified Combs preferred to have her straight hair and light color nails. Jane said Combs called sexual encounter with other men debauchery or hotel nights. Jane testified she and Combs had hotel night every single time she saw him between May 2021 to October 2023. The two were on a break from October 2023 through February 2024, Jane testified. She said she had some time alone after hotel nights with another man, but she felt like it was a hotel night the whole time. So I think that being with another man affected her too. I don't know. Jane said her relationship with Combs consumed her and hurt her income. Now, Jane said the relationship was going to start affecting her ability to work and make income. I would say that when I was with Sean, I was really consumed with him. I was really consumed by Sean. Jane testified that she made sure she was always for Combs at a moment's notice. Damn. Now this is 50 Cent, baby. 50 Cent, they never had this type of control over this woman. It said Combs would periodically give her money, typical in amounts ranging from $5,000 to $10,000 if it was cash. Combs would wire her money if it was large amounts. Jane said the most he ever gave her one time was $20,000 when she told him she needed furniture for her home, which he paid for. At one point, Jane proposed the idea of starting an OnlyFans account to make money. She was going to get on OnlyFans. She said her friend made $4 million in 1 year, and she thought she could be successful posting content like bikini, lingerie, and nude photos. Who's a friend that made $4 million? Anybody can guess who her friend that was on OnlyFans. First thing came to mind was Black China, but Black China got out of it, and now she's struggling now. Apparently, she having money problems now. She had to sell her home in Beverly Hills, I guess, a mansion she had. She having problems. I don't know, but I want to know who her friend that made $4 million a year. She was planning to do post-sexual activity. Yang said, but Combs was hesitant and told her to wait. I don't think she should have waited. But she can do it now. Shit, we're stopping her now. Shit, go ahead and do it, right? You know, yeah, do that shit now. The witness testified. Okay, the witness testified about her past relationship with Sean and said that after the two broke up, found the fight, they got back together. And I think that's where the audio came from. And Combs suggested they agreed to a contract. The witness, who was using pseudonym, described it was a verbally flirty contract. Combs asked Jane how much allowance she would want in a month, and they agreed on $10,000. Jane said she wanted to spend allowance on a nice home, and Combs agreed to pay rent instead of paying her the money directly. I just want to experience something nice, so I just could feel some sort of balance in our relationship. Comey showed the email Combs' accountant sent Jane, her landlord, about payments, rent. Okay, now Jane testified between 2021 and they had hotel. Okay, it was in Los Angeles, New York, and Miami, and Turks and Caicos. Jane usually discussed the travel arrangement with Chrissy Corm. The name always being brought up, Chrissy Corm. That was assistant. Combs' former chief of staff. His travel agent and one of Combs' assistants paid for the travel. Their time together typically follow a pattern. Jane, the hotel would decorate with red lights, bed sheets, blanket, covering everything. She said the lining was everything for obsessed with baby oil. So he had an obsession of the use of baby oil, like they said. They go through more than 24 bottles of baby oil in a hotel night. God damn, how can you go? Damn, they really want to be oiled up, didn't they? Oiled up, greased up. Yeah, that's and they was on drugs. God damn. Jeez. And then they described how one of these hotel nights go. You know, hotel night would go, it would always be with her and another man, you know, prolonged foreplay. She perform oral sex, and because this is the graphic part, so that's why a lot of people was tripping. How the jury was tripping out, because this got real graphic. Combs offered to direct these encounters and stuff. Do you think that P. Diddy recorded all this stuff and we didn't find the tapes yet? The FBI didn't find the tapes, or maybe they did. Maybe that might be the last thing they bring out in trial, is actually showing the freak offs. I know he had to record one of these freak offs. No way. Just to get dirt on the motherfucker. He did that with Cassie, remember? Eventually, Jane would suggest that the man move on to intercourse, and afterward, the man would leave. I just really wanted it to be done so I can just be with my partner. And he said a single hotel night will sometimes repeat pattern more than once with one man, and then sometime more than once with another person, she said. hotel night could last for more than 24 hours. Damn. And the jury dismissed for the day. Okay, now let's get on to the last day, day 18. Day 18. And Jane is back on the stand. Jane noted that, even though the phone wrote that, thought that, okay, I know what babies accepted of. He's a pathological, because I guess they call him pathological liar. And then I guess the jury saw more than Jane writings on note app, which she said sometimes she copied into messages to Combe. All I wanted was another hotel night and use me before. Wait a minute, let me read that over again. Jane wrote, all you want was another hotel night and use me before your trip, like you've been doing to me for 2 years. I guess she got tired of the hotel night, got tired of, sleeping with these other men and stuff, and him getting off on it and whatever the case may be. She wanted to be with him, but he didn't want that. But he did told her that it was an open relationship, so they might just say that, well, she knew the consequences. But the problem is that because she was on these drugs and stuff, maybe she wasn't in the right mind. I don't know, but this is crazy, man. And you lied. I know the defense, the prosecution have to link this to something. You lied and said that you had no time because you were stressed to work. And Jane also wrote, anything outside these hotels. Combe was joking with him and said that he tried to be in and use every Friday to get high. Alright. Okay, Combe suggested a birthday makeup trip and then proposed it including a hotel night. Jane said, damn. Jane said that he did respond to Combe after they fought. Followed her 2000 birthday celebration and ended with a hotel night. That's cold. He also had some stuff on the staff, including assistant and butler, reach out to her, testified, and she didn't respond to any of them. Jane said that the scheduled trip was a Paris Fashion Week. After the fight with Combe, she said it had been over 2 years since she gone on a trip on her own. A few hours before the flight, Combe texted her repeatedly about Paris and then called her phone like 30 times in a row. Jane said she had told him about the trip and had no idea how he found out. She testified and she didn't respond. Okay, she made it feel like she cared. He went to Paris about 5 days, and when he got back, she said her and Combe started talking again. She said Combe told her to come to Miami so he can figure out a trip as a birthday makeup trip. Jane read some messages between Combs. Okay, Friday she was talking about planning a makeup trip to Turkey Caicos. Message said Combs would plan the night of debauchery and fun, and then straight to the airport. Jane testified he wanted to have me have a hotel night. She responded, I just want us. We need to reconnect. Cool. Okay. And then Jane testified in Miami before the trip. There was some bickering about Paris. He was just showing agitation about the fact that I just up and left, and how his girl can't do that. She said, okay, let me go over here to see. Okay, now she described how the Turkey Caicos trip turned into a hotel night. Okay. They went to Turkey Caicos about 5 days. They seemed bored when they arrived. First day, recalled that one of the men would join them in the hotel night, and suddenly on his way there, they met Paul in the hotel near the villa. They stayed sexual contact. But this is talking about Paul. People was talking about this part here. Jane Cohn went back to the villa, and the music mogul called the man to meet them there. They both laying down. They were so excited. They cuddle. They get next to this. Looked like he still wanted more. They were saying, "Do you have more?" And he said, "Okay." I didn't really hesitate too much. It was like, "Give me forward." Before the man arrived, Combs gave her a bracelet. Okay, Jane made up her soupy happy and later gave her a lube where it became painful to trying to have sex because she was extremely sore. Damn. Man. Now she said she was extremely sore. Okay. Maybe she might need to take a break. Jeez, okay. She said she got upset, took the bracelet off and threw it against the wall and made a comment along the lines of, "You can't take this anymore." She stormed out the villa and walked around crying until Combs went to talk to her. And I remember him saying, "You crazy. How could you make me look like that?" And he said, adding that she couldn't find the words to tell Combs how she felt in the moment. Combs and Jane slept in different rooms that night, and Combs told her she had to apologize to the man for making a scene. It had been 24 hours with no breaks for me. Jane wrote a text message to the man after he reached out to apologize. "I'm not a robot. I'm a mix of tired, hungry, sleepy, and sore." She said Combs felt like he didn't do anything wrong. Okay, the jury saw the photos of Jane on the project wearing a bracelet Combs gave her. Okay. Jane testified that Combs stayed in the island for another day or two when they flew back to Miami. She contacted another man to meet them because she felt for bad ruining their trip. So she was still messing with other guys too. So okay, because it was an open relationship. So okay, Jane said she ended a 2-year love contract with Combs in 2023. And I guess they're going back over this again. $10,000. So this is a contract. So can you link this to like sex trafficking, paid escort or something like that? Jane said they agreed on a 2-year contract because it matched the time I already had spent in the relationship. Jane said she moved to a house where Combs paid the rent. "Who's paying right now?" he said. "Sean." Just confirmed they're currently paying her rent. Damn. Jane said she felt compelled to send photos when ill to prove that she couldn't participate in the. Okay, she described had a complication relationship. Describing her complication relationship with Combs. Okay. Jane read a message between Combs and described her confusion and decided to please him even though she felt sick and that her body hit the wall from the drug use and lack of sleep. So she was fucked up, man. Jane tested one time she was really high and promised him also which she was, and she would invite the top three or 4 guys to bring them all in one night. Damn. She said she had even asked if they could get a hotel or message Combs, assisting if they want to use her house. The prosecutor asked why she would propose. "I was high with my lover and I wanted to play into what he liked to hear. I was like making him feel excited. I was just riling him up. He testified that she planned for a room in her house because Combs alluded to moving those sexual encounters there. Combs told her he would put $15,000 on credit for the things in the new house and copied an old message from her where she said she needed more money to furnish the house, including the second bedroom. Okay, Jane testified. 50 Cent baby mama. That's what we're talking about. So we all know who Jane is now. Second witness. She romped the All-Star party where she's just early, even though she was negatively signaled from her body following the last hotel night. She then told him to reschedule it because she's got a period and sent a photo of proof. Damn. Combs grew angry and accused her of playing him for money. A few hours later, Jane texted Combs saying sorry and asked him to call her. Okay, Combs responded. He was mad. You played me. She replied and sent him a photo of a tampon text, and it wasn't playing no game. She texted him again saying that she read all the messages and he accused her of using him for money just because she didn't feel good and asked him to postpone. I'm not a liar, I'm not a shit user, and not a sex bot. He didn't respond to the message until 3 days later. Good morning. And that he loved her. Okay. Okay, Combs threatened to stop financial support after fight. Okay, Jane said, threatened to stop financial support after the fight. Threats came when she moved on. Came after she texted Jane, move on, expressed frustrations of how the music mogul treated her, canceled their plans. Okay. Sexual encounter, according to a series of text and audio messages between her and Combs. That's that auto message that everybody heard. Now I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? Combs in audio message noting that he didn't want to send the message, but she left him no choice. That's that auto message they're talking about that. She threatened to cut her off. I'm gonna go through it. Okay, you better get on your job. That's all it is, Combs said. According to the message, Jane said he understood. Her job was taking care of him, being good to him, making sure he was happy, which included sexual encounter. He ended up in the auto message, okay, I can't do this shit with you every time you get upset. Okay, Jane, we've been making complete interactions lately, and it was threatening me any chance you get. Okay, she testified that Combs threatened to bring up in so many ways that he was paying for a house. For the text message, audio, he wanted to move on, and Jane noticed how he hadn't apologized to her as well as the threat. You have to be a roller coaster of confusion, she wrote, before sending him a screenshot of flowers and a card Combs sent to another woman. After those messages, Jane testified Combs and her that he loved her and wanted to see her on FaceTime call. Okay, the jury dismissed on the day. I think that's it, man. Now, there's a couple of things that happened when this was going on. Roger Bonds did an interview with J.J. Glad. He was head of security P. Diddy, I think around this time. And he said if he gets subpoenaed by the feds, he would testify against P. Diddy in court. And we don't know what he knows. I know he knows some stuff. So this is damaging, straight damaging. I mean, and then we have Ray J was mentioned in the P. Diddy trial. I think maybe that's the one who was bringing the drugs. I read before that was a guy come over and bring some drugs and something like that. But he accusing Ray J as being a D-boy. And providing substance for the freak-offs. I don't know what kind of drugs Ray J was applying. That's assuming, that's allegedly, allegedly. But apparently P. Diddy, this trial got, actually Ray J shook. He's did a video saying that he's gonna leave the States. He's up out of here. He said he's packing now and stuff like that. I don't know if he's gone, but if he's smart, he will be out of the States right now. Fuck up out of here. Because they're going to call him to stand, or he's going to get, after this trial is over, whatever the case may be, you know, they're gonna hit him if he don't take a deal. So I was always saying that he was going to take P. Diddy's place, but apparently I don't think he's going to take his place. He got too much dirt with that, and then with the Whitney Houston thing, everybody's still bringing that shit up, saying that he killed Whitney Houston. And it was at the night that she died and all this stuff. So he's saying fuck it, and I keep telling them dudes, y'all need to do the Russell Simmons. Instead of losing all your money, losing all your wealth, get up out of Dodge, leave everything behind, go somewhere and live the rest of your life out. They caught y'all up. But if you stay here, you're going to be like P. Diddy up in jail with nothing. And your family won't have nothing to fall back on. So everything you did is just gone. It's a waste. At least now, with Russell Simmons, he can actually leave something to his daughters or whatever the case may be after he passed away and stuff. You know, they're not going to fuck with Russell Simmons. And that's what they want you to do. If you're going to testify on this court, give motherfuckers up. And Ray J seems like he don't want to give nobody up. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's afraid that somebody will kill him if he do that. You know, he won't last at all. And Sugar's in jail just spilling all the beans. You know, interview after interview. Jail interview after jail interview. Not only that, I'm hearing that the defense filed another mistrial Saturday. Now, I don't think the judge is going to go for it. He didn't go for the first one, and I don't think he's going to go for the second one. But the judge had to recommend somebody for giving up Bangola real identity. That's not her name. She just assumed that name for the trial. But the judge had to reprimand somebody in the court for doing this. So they're looking over that. And then they had to reprimand P. Diddy too for trying to influence the jurors when they was interviewing Bianca Bangola. When they had her on the stand, he was, you know, when they was trying to, you know, catch her up on the dates when this balcony incident happened. So they reprimanded Diddy twice. Well, I don't know if they reprimanded Diddy twice. They reprimanded him once and stuff, saying that if you continue this, trying to influence the jurors, we're gonna take you out of the courtroom. But the trial will still continue, but he won't be in the courtroom. He'll probably be outside somewhere else looking at it, from monitors. So it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. But how did the information of Brango to get out her true identity? They said it was from sort of YouTubers. One YouTube, and then a whole bunch of YouTubers posted out her real identity, her address, and all that. And the feds is seeking to reprimand all of them, knocking out their social media accounts, suing them. So any one of y'all YouTubers that got this woman information out, you're not gonna be online for long. Matter of fact, you might probably be in jail. This is goddamn serious now. Just the facts. What's up? What's up? So last week was explosive, man. It was a lot of stuff going on, man. You had stuff going inside the court and outside the court. So we got to see what's going to happen this week. You know, because they talking about it's going to be some mistrial, and the judge ain't going to do no mistrial shit. If he do, somebody need to check the judge. He got paid off big time by somebody. Well, who's going to pay him off? Tell you, I can't pay him off. And then they got this thing where if P. Diddy get charged all counts of stuff, or even if they charge him with, half of the counts, Trump is going to pardon him. I don't think Trump is going to pardon him. Forget it. Trump got his own problems with Elon Musk right now. He ain't trying to be worried about no goddamn P. Diddy trial right now. Trump already pardoned the people that he pardoned, so that's not going to happen. Now, if something happened to Trump in the next 3 years where he lose everything or something, it goes bad for him, he might just do that. Might free P. Diddy out of spite. So I'm going to keep the door open that he might do it. But it'd be more of getting back at people, more spite. But I don't think none of that's happening. Like the P. Diddy defense team, man, they bugged out, man. They want him free, and I'm trying to figure out why would it be. Why the casino, a lot of others, out here saying P. Diddy's free. Said it from the beginning, and they still saying it now. We got all this information out here, all this evidence. Even try to mess up the trial. P. Diddy even tried to sway the jurors. But these YouTubers on here doing too much out here, man. Doxing motherfuckers and shit. Doxing witnesses and shit. You can't do it. It's a bad case, man. You're gonna get hit with bad charges. They're gonna have after the trial, they're gonna have all them motherfuckers in court, either pleading out or got to pay a hefty fine or doing some jail time. This motherfucker's crazy out here, man. But anyway, that's all I have for this one. I wanted to do this one. I do this every once in a while to go live and talk about the trial. I hope you bear with me my reading and stuff. But we got it out. We got it out. Y'all know the gist of what happened from day 16 to day 18. Now we're coming to day 19, and we got to see what's going to happen. It should be interesting. Every week is getting more and more interesting, especially this drama that's happening outside the court. It's wild out here. It's wild. But anyway, thank you guys for coming through. I appreciate it. Hit the like button on the way out. I appreciate it. Until next time, I'll see you guys on the other side. Peace.